They told me I could only have a pool as deep as my ankles, and I had to take it down every single day. But they didn't expect me to fight back with their own rulebook. If you've ever been crushed by pointless HOA rules or love watching tyrants get served with poetic justice, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share your worst HOA story in the comments below. Let's dive into this ridiculous saga. It was the hottest summer we'd had in years. It's the kind where you stick to your couch and the air feels thick enough to chew. We'd put up a small above-ground pool in our own backyard. Nothing fancy, just enough to cool off, relax, and maybe take the edge off these stifling days. We were 3 adults, trying to get some relief from the heat, not toddlers playing in a kiddie puddle. So we proposed a modest 48-inch framed pool, solid, but temporary. We figured maybe with the community pool out of commission again, they'd show some flexibility. Our community pool, the one we pay monthly HOA dues for, was once again closed for maintenance. Last year, they didn't open it until mid-July, blaming unexpected repairs. This year was looking exactly the same. Turns out, above-ground pools are allowed, but they must comply with town code and cannot exceed 23 inches in height. 23 inches. Barely enough to splash your feet. And they also had to be approved by the ARB, the Architectural Review Board. So, my family decided, screw it. My hands shook as I reread their message, the casual arrogance dripping from every line. These people sit in their fluorescent-lit office, making up rules because they think they own our lives. But this is an HOA neighborhood, and if you've ever dealt with an HOA, you know they act like your backyard is their personal kingdom. I read the fine print. In the minutes of past ARB meetings, where they approved garden sheds, trampolines, and other permanent structures taller than 23 inches with no such daily removal clause. And I don't take kindly to bullies. In front of the board, the other residents, everyone. I asked them to point to the bylaw or covenant stating daily removal was required. I scoured the rules. I calmly replied, then it should be written, and it isn't. We knew 23 inches wouldn't work. For once, the board wasn't in charge. Residents demanded answers. The board mumbled about consistency and community standards. People weren't buying it. I sent the request in, fingers crossed. Probably because the HOA needed to show they were responsive. Funny how that works. They agreed to formally clarify the rule in writing, and dropped the daily takedown demand entirely. And it let every resident know they didn't have to bow to vague. Unwritten policies? We still couldn't have a taller pool than 23 inches. But at least they couldn't arbitrarily invent new conditions on a whim. I wouldn't let them. I had to think twice, because now everyone was watching. Finally, the HOA president said they would review the matter. This was a framed pool. Nothing about daily removal. Nothing about temporary structures needing daily disassembly. Taking it down daily meant draining hundreds of gallons, disassembling metal supports, folding liner, drying it, and then repeating it the next day. Anyone with a shred of common sense knows that is absurd. Days later, the reply came back cold and final. Request denied. The maximum height is 23 inches. Okay. Annoying, but technically in line with the rules. Can't even put up a 48-inch pool. I posted the entire exchange in the community Facebook group. I attached the screenshot of their email with the made-up rule. I attached the 1986 policy they love to cite. One pointed out the hypocrisy. They approved 10-foot trampolines that stay up year-round. But I couldn't have 23 inches of water in my yard? And now we're being told to drain a 23-inch pool every day when there is no such rule? So I asked, fine, what if we complied with the 23-inch rule? Surely we could at least do that. And that's when the insanity really showed itself. The ARB responded, you may only use a pool under 23 inches. And you must take it down daily. Daily, every single day. Dozens of neighbors chimed in, frustrated with similar nonsense. Some had been denied garden boxes. Others had their exterior paint color requests delayed for months. Turns out everyone had been quietly seething, terrified to speak up. My post was the spark they needed. This wasn't an inflatable splash pad. I checked the bylaws, the covenants, the ARB regulations. Nowhere, and I mean nowhere. Did it say anything about a daily removal requirement? It was pure, fabricated nonsense. Okay, an unwritten policy some power-hungry board member pulled out of thin air. I was furious. But here's the thing about me. I gathered every document. The old policy from 1986 stating the 23-inch limit. My emails, their ridiculous daily takedown requirement. Then I brought it up at the next HOA meeting. I read their email out loud, voice trembling but steady. Silence. One member finally stammered that it was long-standing policy. I showed them the section of the governing documents, line by line. Residents started murmuring. A couple neighbors whispered, "Wait, what?" I pressed on. "We paid dues for a pool that's closed." They tried to brush me off. Review the matter. Typical stall tactic. So I took it further. The post exploded. The next HOA meeting was packed. Eventually, the HOA caved. It wasn't the complete victory I wanted, but it exposed them, shook their power. We never got our 48-inch pool that summer. But you know what? The community pool miraculously opened early that year, and the next time they tried to flex their petty power over anyone's backyard improvements, they had to think twice, because now everyone was watching. If there's one thing this taught me, it's that bullies thrive in silence. The second you shine a light on their hypocrisy, they scurry like roaches. Have you ever had to battle ridiculous HOA rules or push back against petty tyrants? Drop your story in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who needs a dose of HOA karma. See you in the next one.